Hull probably had a great game too, but it was Skittles down the pub because they sure as hell didn't turn up for the rugby.
Frogmore said, no one would ever accuse Gale as being smart, brackets, look at signing for Hull as an example, close brackets, but going in studs first might be the next dumbest decision he's made. FC's try was baffling. It looked like Jack was defending from row F when the ball bounced. It's about right. He didn't have the best game defensively, but the kid's a wizard in attack. PS, Dodd is a gun. PPS, Hull only lost because the refs are against them. Ask their fans.
Oh, they are fucking convinced that Kendall and Moore hate them. At MikeWeb58 said, I'm glad this was mentioned by people actually. JW13 tribute superbly handled by Hull. Shame the players had got so cold that they couldn't catch the ball for the first 5 minutes. Wolf ball version 3 looking good again despite the weather. Not sure there was any intent to hurt by Gale, but I've never seen that on a rugby field before. Goal kicking could cost Saints this season. Winky face.
Yeah, it was much better from Tommy Megginson this week, that's for sure. Joshua's granddad, another one for the Kendall-Moore combo. Saints too big, too strong, simply don't need the helping hand from these two. Kendall not interested in either card offence until Moore whispers in his ear. Then they chose to downplay his to the backs after ball passed on players. Oh God, I've lost my way here because there's no.
Right, I'll read it. Then they then choose to downplay hits to the backs after the ball is passed or on players not in possession. Wasn't this a card offence last week? Fans want consistency and not spend the match watching the ref. Don't watch him then.
My lad, J.W. Powell 9, fantastic and emotional tribute to Johnny Whiteley. Saints packed too much for Hull to handle. Really poor decision by Luke Gale, though. Hull's fate was already sealed by then. You cannot go down 2 scores to the mighty Saints and expect to win. Not against the world's best defence. Saints are winning 4 in a row.
Tom Andrews said, it all started so promising for FC with a nice break, then it all went to shit. Shaw back throwing passes into row E, Satai doing his best Scott Taylor tackle attempts, and Gale channeling his inner Roy Keane. Honestly, imagine stripping a great clubman like Houghton of captaincy for that wig-wearing shite bag. The biggest mystery will be, can this squad of niggly bastards finish a game with 13 men on the field?
Page said, what an utter shambles of a game. Yes, what Luke Gale did was wrong, but the yellow card was utter bollocks. Chris Shithouse Kendall stripped the game from us. All you want from a ref is consistency, and we didn't get that, and that's what people get mad at. Saints are way above any other team. If anything, it highlights just how much we have to improve. Was always going to be hard with 13, impossible when you only have 12.
Scoot said, I think Saints have been spending too much time with David's Liverpool football team diving and play acting. Gale was shocking, the weather was shocking, Hull was shocking, Kendall was fairly clueless. The Johnny Whiteley tributes, however, were outstanding and both sets of fans were impeccably behaved. Less so later in the game when flares were being set off in the away end.
That was bad. There was,
you've caught that disease from us then, have you?
Yeah, bloody horrible. I hate that.
Yeah.
Fat Boy Rob says, got a freebie as it was too cold for the nations. There was goose bumping inducting tribute to Johnny Whiteley, and that was the highlight of the game for the home support. As a neutral, brackets, sort of, close brackets, I have to say Kendall was awful. I think he got the big decisions right with the help of the video ref, but he just wasn't consistent with the basics like offsides, and the majority of the decisions went to Saints.
We did get a couple of late ones in, actually, on this one, David. Mike Dodd 22 said, over as a contest after Luke Gale's complete brain fart. Yes, he probably was trying to trap the ball with his foot, but he could have done that without going studs up on Lomax. Saints fans must be disappointed to see Jack Wellesley's plans to leave the sport and go full-time training for the 3-metre springboard at Paris 2024. And Esther Thorpe, a new name on me, and Esther is not happy. Esther said, how many game suspension did the 5 Saints players who was reviewed get? What sanction on Wellesby diving? When are going to have one rule book for all clubs? I can't answer any of your questions. I guess...
I don't think there were questions, Mark.
What I would say is and we'll do them now. We'll do Luke Gale we've talked about his. He got the grade D and the grade C, but it ended up getting a 5 max ban for the two combined. Emma actually was saying, because when I was sort of chuntering to myself, putting the rundown together and stuff, Emma was like, "Oh, what, for that thing on the game on Saturday where that idiot went and picked up the player who was injured? What?" And basically, her version of whatever a shithouse is, she said, I can't remember exact words, but she basically said that that was ridiculous, and of course he should be banned. And that was without even thinking about the studs up challenge. Conrad Hurrell as well for St Helens got a grade A dangerous contact charge, no match penalty notice. Now, this is where I have some sympathy with some of the things that some of the Hull FC fans said, like Joshua's granddad, Esther, throw Esther Page and them into the mix too. In that, it appears that the match officials have missed a sin bin in offence by Conrad Hurrell, because it looks like it was an offence it sounds from the write-ups and stuff that it was an offence very similar to the one that we saw the grade A charge for Brad Dwyer last week. So in that regard, I think it's fair to say they missed one there. That was also fairly early in the game, wasn't it?
I don't know. I can't even remember it.
No, I don't remember it either. I'm looking at the disciplinary match review panel minutes. It looks like it was not long before the Connor Wynn sin binning.
I don't even remember it from the game at the time, so I'm not surprised they missed it.
Yeah, and in terms of the Connor Wynn sin binning, I guess the match review panel saw it as the way a lot of people have seen it there, because their write-up was there's no further action from it, and the write-up is player is not lifted into a dangerous position, player holds a leg in a stationary tackle, opponent contributes and rolls himself to the floor. So so I think in those instances there's some reason to be aggrieved. It would not have changed by any shakes the result of this match, who won this match. The conditions were appalling, weren't they? And neither team could really keep hold of the ball. But Hull had to try really expansive stuff to even come close to having an attacking threat, and that this wasn't the conditions to try that for them, unfortunately.
No, and as I said earlier, I don't like games where a player's sent off so early, because in a game like Rugby League, and particularly in difficult conditions like that, the game is over as a spectacle. You just, you're very, very unlikely to beat a good side with a man short in difficult conditions like that. So, we'll take the win. I think it was just a mad thing for Gale to do. I mean, it was just... I know what he was trying to do, but it was a daft thing to do.
I don't know what he was trying to do, because I've been watching Rugby League for years and years and years, and when players try to charge down the ball, they run with their arms up in the air. Not this cowardly poke your foot out, studs up at the player kicking the ball, some sort of trying to trap the ball. Then the bullshit of, I was apologising straight away. No, you weren't. You were trying to drag him up when he was holding his leg that was clearly cut.
It was mad. It was a mad thing to do.
I've never seen the likes of that. I've seen it on football pitches before. I've never seen it in a rugby league game. I've got to be honest.
I haven't. I've been watching the game 50 years and I've never seen it. I
do think that the referee taking instructions from the video referee was that it appeared to be a sort of deliberate act. I think it was more reckless than any sort of malice.
Absolutely. So I think when he says deliberate, I mean, I'm interpreting here, Mark, but my view is it's like deliberate offside. It wasn't an accident. He actually had his leg out. I don't think he was trying to hurt the player. I think it was reckless. I think reckless is a much better description.
Yeah. And so I think that's why they ended up with the 5-game ban for the two incidents wrapped together. Probably is about right on my assessment that I would have had of it. I don't think they could have done anything other than red, though. I was watching it, I was thinking, should it really be a red? Because it's kind of like a late tackle on a kick. But then I was thinking, I've never seen this before. And when something looks so out of place, You have to.
Yeah.
And it did cut the player. It did connect with the player. Let's not talk about minimal contact, where he held his leg, blah, blah, blah. Lomax is a lot of things, but Wellesby we can throw the acting like a footballer book at a little bit. Not Lomax, I don't think.
Agree. I totally don't agree, by the way, on the Wellesby. I do think he rolled himself to the floor because what happened was Wynne got hold of one leg and Wynne had got his other leg in front of Wellesby and Wellesby's knee was starting to get extended. So he rolled himself over the leg and he did drop himself onto his head. Now, that's not it's not Wellesby's fault that the referee then decides that that's a sin binning.
No,
but if Wellesby hasn't done that, then he's going to hyperextend his knee.
I can agree. I can understand why the match officials thought it was a sin binning because it did look like a tackle where he'd been put into a dangerous position rather than ended up in a dangerous position kind of thing. I do think that Wynne had lifted a leg, so I do think Wynne had contributed to it.
Oh, yeah.
But I also think the only reason it resulted in the way it did was because Wellesby tucked and rolled.
Yeah, oh no, I don't disagree with that. But what I'm saying is, I don't think Wellesby's diving for that. I think he's done that. He's done that to protect himself because his leg's getting hyperextended in the middle.
Do you know what? I can't remember if there's any kind of like claiming anything after the fact by Wellesby. Actually, I can't remember
Wellesby's
that one
not.
way or another.
No. Well,
I mean, he was.
He's holding his head because he genuinely lands on his head.
He had such a mixed bag of a game, didn't he, in this game?
Oh, it was genuine rocks and diamonds.
Yeah.
So there was some, 3 try passes in the first half, and then some, missing kicks, dropping balls. It was a real mixed bag from. But the weather was dreadful. But it was a real mixed bag from him. But he's a young kid. That's what you get sometimes from young kids, isn't it? You get brilliant moments, and you get some pretty ropey bits as well.
Lots to be unhappy about for Hull FC fans, I think, across the piece, really. One thing for them to be happy about is Josh Griffin being back in the side. Okay, out of position because they've got some forward pack issues at the moment, but and some of them their own making, obviously, with Savelio being on a ban and that sort of thing. But that was a positive. The other major talking point for me from this game was that Brad Fash has gone to a fancy dress shop and bought a Tiger King costume.
It would not look out of place though, would it? That's for sure.
I can only assume he's also a Hull City fan with his Tiger King persuasion.
It was,
some mullet.
Not the greatest mullet I've ever seen. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. No, don't do it, Brad. Get it cut now, mate.
Let's do the TV figures because again, positive, David, for this game.
Yeah, the average audience for the Saturday game on Channel 4 was 515,000. The peak audience was 624,000. That was a 6% TV share for the Saturday dinner time slot. And is up 43% on the channel's average figures at that time.
When you think about how many TV channels there are to watch, I know a lot of people don't necessarily watch TV as well, so there's that to take into account, but that's good, isn't it?
It's very good. And Channel 4 have now revealed that it was also the most popular programme with 16 to 34-year-olds, attracting a 13.7% share, which is up 117% on that usual slot. And the important thing about that is that age grouping is the most attractive for advertisers. So Channel 4 are delighted with that.
And it's also huge for our game because we do have an aging fan base, and so if we're attracting younger people to watch the game, and maybe not watching that game, they might not think, let's get down to a game because those conditions were not fun to look at. But at the same time, that's great. That's great news. Great stuff. And also, quite a lot of people touched on the Johnny Whiteley tributes, which, for the second week in a row, some part of the Channel 4 coverage in the build-up to the match had me really feeling emotive and emotional. And this was all played out really well. What a tribute to what a man.
Yeah, coverage on Channel 4 is very good, isn't it? I really like it. I think they're doing a nice job.